Hello and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn with a librarian. This session is Navigating Open Access Author Agreements at CRU. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. My name is Jackie Mays and I will be moderating today's session. Before we start, I have a few things to mention. One is questions. If you have questions, please place them in the chat box. You can open the chat box. There is a button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will be running a live Q&A after the presentation, and questions will be answered at that time. Links as we go along, I will post relevant links in the chat, so be on the lookout for those. And slides. We will email you the recording of this presentation and the slides after the webinar. So with that, housekeeping out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker, Jessica DeCaro, who is the director of the Cleveland Health Sciences Library. Jessica will be speaking to us about open access publishing agreements at CASE. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Jackie. So getting started. Come on, there we go. Today we're going to learn to define open access publishing if you're not aware, and what publishing fees are. Understand what open access publishing agreements Case Western provides through the libraries, and effectively navigate the publishing fee exemptions from specific journals. And just a lovely little quote, OA benefits literally everyone for the same reason that research itself benefits literally everyone. We love open access and want to make sure that everyone understands what we have available for them and how to navigate these open access agreements. So what is open access? It is the fundamental genesis of relative convenience, which originated via the internet when it was developed. So researchers realized from its earliest days that they could use the internet as an opportunity to share technology, to share information, to share new research completely free and unrestricted. So OA presents an opportunity which is simply too good to miss. And so it is over the last 30-ish years really developed into what we have today. Is it perfect? No. Is it good? It's getting there. So what is the definition and the key concepts? So OA, or open access, refers to scholarly literature that is digital, online, free of charge, and free of most copyright and reuse restrictions. It's well established as a mode of distributing scholarly research. But today, it means that it's really freely available to anyone. That's why librarians and libraries really like it as much as we do. It refers to specifically the scholarly literature, and it is seen as an intervention to remove a cost barrier to access and ideally enable broad reuse to the world. Open access can be achieved often regardless of where one chooses to publish, though open publishing or through open publishing and open archiving, or both, by publishing in an open journal or placing a copy in an open repository. Often open publishing is sometimes referred to as gold OA or green. There's a lot of color nomenclature, which is a little confusing. And I hesitate to introduce it because it is confusing, but you're going to encounter it. So we're going to talk about that in just a few slides. As an aside, OA is completely different from public access. This is open access. Public access is a requirement based off of federal funding. Open access is a choice. And so again, OA is achieved by two primary means: through publishing in an OA journal or archiving via a repository. So the colors of OA at this point right now, we have Diamond OA, which is free to read in an OA journal. There's no APC charged. That's the author charges. And there's no copyright license. Gold OA is free to read in an OA journal with payment, typically of one of those fees, the APC fees, with the copyright license. Hybrid could be free to read in a subscription journal with a payment of APC with a copyright license. Bronze is free to read in a journal without that license, and green is free to read in a repository, typically the author's version of submission to a journal with a copyright license. So I have down here a link to more of a definition of this to give a more broad understanding of what these different colors are. It's kind of a moving target. There seems to be different levels of OA that are coming together. You know, every year we have a little bit more. So what are the open publication models specifically? Hybrid refers to subscription journals that often offer OA at the article level via article processing charges, that's the APCs, and they are a mix of either open or closed journals. Transformative agreements, I'm not going to read all of this, is the variety of models that we were just talking about. And most subscription journals, especially among the largest publishers, provide an OA option at the article level, just for that particular article, if there's an APC paid. And then that article is OA in an otherwise closed context. So the author has paid to make sure that their work is viewable, even if it lives in a closed journal or a subscription-based journal. Hybrid APCs tend to be much higher in cost than the gold APCs. And in the last several years, we've started to see the rise of new kinds of agreements that provide open access for institutional authors via content agreements, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. These are variously known as transformative agreements, a read and publish agreement, a publish and read agreement, or what we call an author agreement. APCs and transformative agreements are very controversial. The good news is that CWRU provides a variety of transformative agreements, which we will go over soon, which helps, especially our junior faculty and our students to be able to publish early in their careers without those costs. We think of it as an unprecedented public good because it speeds innovation and it provides practitioner access and advances equity, and it's fairness to taxpayers to be able to see in regards to public access what their money has paid for. At the society level, open access can really speed innovation. So we saw in the development of the coronavirus vaccines, it provided access to practitioners across the board, like social workers and doctors and public health advocates, and many others, to be able to access the information without having a license to an expensive journal. So our authors' motivations for publishing in OA would include broader visibility and impact, which can lead to more citations and better career outcomes. Our OA supports authors' rights, such as the right to share in a repository, to blog about and share on social media, for example. And increasingly, it's a necessary aspect of grant compliance. OA can increase public engagement as well, and it can connect to institutional mission, which speaks to service to regional improvement. And finally, if you look at the way open has grown from niche to normal, it's clear that the future of research communication is open, and that's worth participating in. It helps to shape to benefit researchers. Some of the author concerns that we have include things like promotion and tenure impact and cost. Is a specific journal a predatory publication? There's a lot of care that you need to go through to be able to choose the right journal to publish in. And then what are open licenses? What are the versions? What does that mean? What's an embargo? Most people don't understand, that library lingo or journal lingo. So we're here to help with all of those questions that you might have. Open access is not a panacea. There's a lot of challenges. Just know that the library is available for you to be able to contact us, and we're happy to help. So author agreements at Case Western Reserve. We have a number of publishers who have agreed to waive the cost of publishing in their OA specific journals. And we have this guide here at the bottom of the slide, and Jackie's going to put it in the chat to make sure everyone can see that. And I'm going to walk through it as well because they are very nuanced. At the top, you can see we have the different journal publishers. So the American Chemical Society, which is a suite of journals, annual reviews, astronomy and astrophysics, Cambridge journals, et cetera, et cetera. So what's off at the side is who put these agreements together. And if we click on either here, or you can click on down here, we can take a look at these better. So let's start with Elsevier. And as we look at Elsevier, the specific limits and details of the agreement, you can see an article must be accepted for publication between January of this 24th through December 27th. I'm sorry, 2027, because that is the terms of our agreement through OhioLink with Elsevier. So it's a 3-year contract. And as you read down, there are different eligibility types of articles. And then there's notes about what the statewide article limit means. So we are given a certain amount of money every year, and at some point that money typically runs out. Last year we ran out in December for Elsevier. Might have been at the end of November, but just around in that period of time. And what that means is if you're looking to publish in an Elsevier journal, you should look at this page first to make sure that we haven't run out of money. So it's January 1st, the pot of money has recycled or refreshed, so we're in good standing right now. But definitely keep an eye on this page when you are looking to publish, because you don't want to be caught in a situation where you think we have this and then you get stuck with an APC. Down below is the journal finder tool so that you can see what participating journals are in the list. There's a link for a guide for authors for Elsevier specifically. And there's just lots of information on each individual page. I strongly suggest that as you determine what journal you want to publish in or what publisher you want to work with, that you look at this page, take a look at the FAQs, take a look at the other OA funding opportunities that we have, reach out to the library specifically to ask all of the questions that you have before you go ahead and click that button, because you don't want to make an assumption that we have an agreement for a journal that may not fall under the eligibility criteria. This is a Kelvin Smith library guide, and Karen Caputo, her job is scholarly communications and copyright. So she is a great resource to ask, or you can reach out to us at Ask CHSL. So again, this is what the slide, this slide is of the research guide. And I wanted to talk very briefly about institutional repositories, which is another aspect of the open agreements, open access agreements that the libraries have put together. So in response to the OSTP memo, federal agencies now require authors to deposit their manuscripts into agency repositories or other repositories. And so the agreement that the faculty approved in 2024 is that if faculty choose to, they can also put their journal article into the case repository. And typically that is the version is the author submitted version. It's not the final version of the publisher, like the pretty version, but it is the version that you submit and is finally approved by the journal that we can put into that repository. And if you have questions about that, we're happy to answer afterwards. So to summarize, that policy was reviewed and approved by faculty for faculty, and it supersedes any other copyright implications that a journal might want to impose on an author. The policy is listed here. We have it over on the bottom half of the slide, and Jackie's going to put it in the chat. So if you want to read more about it, it essentially says that you own the copyright for your final approved version, and that you have the ability to share it and use it how you wish. The benefits, like we said before, more equitable access is a huge help. It says if you have your article in a repository and somebody says, "Hey, I'd really like to see your article, but I don't have paid access to it," you can provide access in a copyright protected way by sending the link to your work to anybody. It helps authors to comply with funder sharing policies and increases your own impact and visibility, etc. So I think that this policy was a really good move on the part of the faculty to be able to approve this, and I strongly encourage everyone to upload their work into our repository. I have a slide that has a whole bunch of resources on it in case you have questions afterwards that you'd like to come back to. And this is Karen's email address, thescholarlycom@case.edu, or you can reach out to us at askchtsl@case.edu. Does anyone have any questions?
Hi, I have no question right now, but this was terrific. It needs to be, really disseminated. I don't think people really understand enough to know what they don't know or what they have access to. So I'm just going to give you a heads up on behalf of the Faculty Senate Research Committee. You will probably be invited to present this again because that's a group that has been discussing this. So thank you very much, Jessica, for doing this. I really appreciate it. And probably we'll have some other questions for clarification. The first one I can think of is this CWR repository. Who has access to that?
By access, what do you mean?
So if I see. So if someone wanted one of my publications that was in there, I'm sending it to them. They are not going in and getting it.
It is an open repository. You could send the link. They could Google it. It is, they have the, what do they call that? I'm having a blank. It's one of those moments. The optimization through Google is really high. So if someone were to, for instance, Google Catherine Demko, it would probably come up really, really high on the list of the repository, and your work would be found within it. But again, you have to be the one. The way that the Faculty Senate asked for this to be not disseminated, to be governed, is that faculty reach out to us. But we do keep an eye on publications that are being published. And we have somebody who reaches out and says, "Hey, do you know about our repository? Would you like to put your work into it?" But there's no obligation whatsoever.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think I saw something in the chat.
Yeah, there was one question in the chat just about how to make an individual appointment. And I'm putting those links in there right now. So you do have some options. If you want to contact us at the Cleveland Health Sciences Library, you can email us at askchsl@case.edu, or you can go on our website, case.edu/CHSL, and there is a link, just a button right on that main page that says make an appointment. As you mentioned, Jessica, you could also contact Karen Caputo at KSL. She is the Scholarly Communication and Copyright Librarian. I'm about ready to put that her email address in there, but it is scholarlycom@case.edu. So plenty of options to meet with someone individually or get some expert advice.
Very good. And Heather, you asked, is this only for faculty or can staff members participate? As far as I understand, staff can participate as well as students.
Just to clarify, this CWRU repository is only for that agreed upon approved version of the publication, but not the final actual publication. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Publishers put a lot of time and money into the formatting and the storage of their, you know, of the journal articles and the journals themselves. And so we want authors to maintain their versions, right? And be able to make that available. So it's not the pretty version, but it's your version. Any other questions today? Well, I'm so happy you were here and that you found our lunch and learn session. And we typically do these once a month, so keep an eye out. Jackie, do you have quick access to the campus groups, our CHSL campus groups link? Because I believe that you can, there's an RSS feed. You can not register. You can sign up to receive our mailings, our emails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're on campus groups and you become a member of the group, you will get updates on events. Our next Lunch and Learn is on February 11th, and it's discussing Primo, which is the library's new discovery search platform. So I think that one will be very interesting as well and helpful to everyone. Also, after this session, I will be emailing out the recording and the slides. You will also be able to find the video recording at the library's YouTube channel. And I'll just throw that link in there as well, because we have quite a few videos on there that you may find useful, past sessions and some tutorials and things like that.
Thank you for your time, everybody. We really appreciate you.